All right. So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So, how is your life going on? Even ever since you started attending these sessions on neuro-linguistic programming.
I think life is good. There are a lot of good changes happening.
Uh-huh. Like anything specific? Would you like? Can you share? Would you like to share anything specific?
Having some good control over my emotions,
Mm.
getting stronger, carrying a broader smile always.
Okay.
I've got different perspectives, like moving away from all those odd thoughts and just enjoying, I would say.
Super. Super. Yeah. Pallavi.
Good afternoon, everyone. For me, it's like something I wasn't aware before, and now, as I am coming to aware more about the NLP, I'm like finding it very interesting and very positive and profound way of changing oneself, changing the way of communication, changing the way of presenting yourself, and be more confident. And the way you teach us uh, is awesome. I love listening to you. I love the way you communicate. I want to follow you. That's the reason I am here.
Wow, that's lovely. You know, God did a cheating with all of us. Do you know how he cheated us? Let me put it in this way. Like you think of any device that is there in your home. So every device you have in your home, it always comes with a user manual, right? Every device that you have in your home, it always comes with a user manual. If it is a TV, there's a user manual for that. If there's a handphone, mobile phone, there's a user manual for that. If there's a telephone, there's a user manual for that. If there is a cooking stove, there's a user manual for that. If there is a microwave oven, there is a user manual for that. There's a refrigerator, user manual for that. A ceiling fan, user manual for that, and AC, there's a user manual for that. So every device that you got in your home, it came with a user manual. Even your car has a user manual. It comes with a user manual. When you buy a car, when you buy a two-wheeler, it always comes with a user manual. The question is, why do these manufacturers, they come with a user manual along with the product? Why did they send it? आपको क्या लगता है? What makes you think? What is your take on this? Why do they give a user manual along with it?
So that we can optimally utilize them by know the utility and how to best get the best performance from it.
Okay, that's a very good way of looking at it. Yeah, Ruti?
Yeah, I think we can understand the instrument and then go on with it in a better way.
Okay, so do you think, let me put it in another way, that every device that comes in your home, do you think that it should come with a user manual? उसके साथ उसका यूजर मैनुअल होना बहुत जरूरी है, आपको क्या लगता है?
Sir, probably yes, probably no. Suppose I am using the old microwave and I am going for the another one. I already know how to use it.
Okay, when you're using it for the
Probably
first
no,
time,
but if it has some new features, then probably yes. I want them to be known and explore them. So yes.
if you're using it for the first time, if you get a
Then
microwave
obviously
oven in your
yes.
home for the first
Uh,
time,
there obviously yes, because so I want the maximum utilization of it, and it's better to have a manual than to hit and try.
okay. Now imagine if there is no manual with it, what will you do with that?
Sir, up भी तो एआई का जमाना है. All answers are there in Google, AI, and
Imagine there is
maybe
no
know
AI, then
from
what
the
will you do?
know from the person already using it, उसका experience share कर लेंगे.
Nobody has ever used that product before. So what will you do?
Sir, Pinaki sir is there, मैं हूँ ना.
You know, if there is no product, if there is a product which is there in your hand, and if that it does not come with a user manual, you have to figure out how to use it. That's the only way out. And if you do not know how to use it, you really need to handle it very carefully so that you can make best use of it and you should not damage it. If it is really, really precious thing, you have to be extremely careful, isn't it? Say you have a smart watch and you don't know how to use it. So you give the smartwatch to somebody who is 80 year plus, somebody who has never used even a smartphone. And you tell that person that you can check your BP with this product, with this watch. And you just leave that person with that message. You can check your BP with that, you can check your blood sugar, you can check pulse rate, and this and that. You can play games, you can improve your memory using it. And you just give it to him. And that person doesn't even know how to switch it on. What will happen? What will happen?
Boom.
This is where God cheated us. God sent us, God sent you and me along with a wonderful instrument, beautiful instrument. और उस इंस्ट्रूमेंट का हमने नाम दिया है ब्रेन. And that instrument is supposed to do anything and everything with your body. है ना? गॉड ने बॉडी बनाया, बॉडी को चलाने के लिए उन्होंने एक ब्रेन बनाया और हमें एक ब्रेन यहाँ पे डाल के दे दिया. The only thing he didn't do is he didn't send a user manual with it. उसने हमें भी नहीं दिया, हमारे पेरेंट्स को भी नहीं दिया, हमारे पूर्वजों को भी नहीं दिया. बोला कि दे दिया बस, अब तुम इसको संभालो. Now imagine what will you do with that if you do not know how to use it. So human beings, they started, sometimes they discover that they have something called intelligence. And they discovered that at least they could access that. They could identify, they could differentiate themselves from other animals. That I have something, I can think, and I know I can think, which no other animal can even think of. They do not know that they can think. They think, they still think, but they don't know they can think. It's only human beings. It's only you and me. Okay, so at some day, some moment, in a journey on in our evolution, the early human being, he discovered that he has something called being. He's not just an animal. It's not a human, but human being. He discovered there's something. Kuch hai. I know I can think. And if I can think, then I can manipulate also. The trouble was you didn't have the language to express it to people. That you got to know that you can think. You got to know that you got this amazing device. है ना? आपने आविष्कार तो कर लिया, लेकिन early human beings, they never used to talk to each other, right? They were just like animals. Maybe they used to do some noise, some sound, like Tarzan. That's it. Nothing else. That's what animals do. They use some kind of sounds to express themselves. Human being भी वैसे ही थे, but they discovered that no, it's not, it's something different also. Now they are looking for a way out to express themselves, and that's how language evolved. So only human beings can speak in language. They have something called language to express themselves. But it also went through evolution. In different parts of the world, human beings started using different ways to communicate with each other. Eventually, language was born. And eventually, what happened? They used that language to express their thoughts. And that's how all these languages were born. And that's why there are so many languages. And the fundamental purpose of all these languages is to express what that person is perceiving about something. That's the only intention of a language. Language का और कोई intention नहीं. The only intention of any language is to express the perception or the feeling of something. If something happened and you want to explain that what happened to somebody, so before you can explain it, you need to perceive what happened. So perception. Perception is your way of looking at it, your interpretation of what happened. And then projection, your way of expressing it. So perception is your understanding about what happened, your meaning making, your interpretation. And projection is how we're expressing that perception. किसी भी language का purpose यही है. If you go back to history of any language, you discover that this was the only purpose why a language was developed, or language got developed, language got discovered, or language got invented, and eventually language got polished. And today we have language where we have different words, and we have different syllables for these different words, and these syllables are the movement of our tongue inside of our mouth. That's it. So that's a language refined. That human beings discovered, oh my God, I can make different kind of sounds by moving my tongue at different parts of the mouth. Fascinating, amazing, isn't it? What God didn't give us is a language to express ourselves. तो अगर वो यूजर मैनुअल भी देता भी, if you don't know the language, there's no point. Because if there's a user manual in Chinese and if you do not know Chinese, you can't understand what's written there. Even if a user manual is in Sanskrit, many Indians, you and me, may be finding it very difficult to read it. If it is in any language which you don't know, you can't read it. That's why when you see a user manual, normally it comes with multiple languages. When it is produced in India, they also use some local Indian languages like Hindi, Bengali, South Indian, Urdu, so that anybody who doesn't know any other language, but maybe he will be knowing this language, they can get a sense of how to use this product. Now, since human beings didn't have any language, गॉड ने हमें लैंग्वेज दिया नहीं, इसलिए उसने मैनुअल बनाया भी नहीं. उसने मैनुअल बनाने का मेहनत ही नहीं की, क्योंकि पता ही है बनाने का कोई फायदा नहीं. फिर लैंग्वेज बना. फिर लैंग्वेज बनते 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 ह्यूमन बींग्स इतने इवॉल्व हो गया. नाउ दे स्टार्टेड फिगरिंग आउट हाउ ह्यूमन बींग्स थिंक. फिर गॉड ने कुछ लोगों को एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी कि नाउ दैट यू हैव अ लैंग्वेज, you study human brain and you write a manual for it. And as they started writing the manual, eventually that also got polished. That also got more reworked and researched. It's all research, it's not searching. You are researching. You are searching the same thing again and again to find out if there is anything which I missed out. And eventually it evolved. And that language in which the user manual of brain was written or was developed, was created, is called neuro-linguistic programming. The language that we use to program your mind to produce the results that you desire. Every action that you take is a translation or processing of some inputs. So there are input devices. We have these 5 input devices through 5 organs. We collect the information that is then it is being processed here inside this place called brain. And then the output is given. So that process was followed in creating a computer. Computer भी जब बनाया गया, उसके पीछे वही intention था. So there will be some input devices, there will be some output, and between that input and out there will be some processing, and it has to happen in a certain language. So computer has its own language. Started with something, some basic language, then new languages evolved to interpret more complicated communication. So neuro-linguistic programming is the user manual for your brain. If there is one reason, if there is one requirement why you should study neuro-linguistic programming, if there is only one, then this should be the reason, that it is the user manual of your own brain. You learn how to use your brain. Now, every user manual which comes with any product, there are certain basic things. आप देखिएगा हर यूजर मैनुअल का सबसे पहला पेज जो होता है वहां पर उसका एक फोटो होता है और उसके चारों तरफ 1 2 3 4 लिखा हुआ होता है और उसका एक्सप्लेनेशन इज देयर ऑन द नेक्स्ट पेज. जो 1 मतलब स्विच है, 2 मतलब ये है, 3 मतलब ये है, 4 मतलब, दैट्स हाउ द यूजर मैनुअल स्टार्ट्स. इसका मतलब क्या है कि you have to accept that this user manual is fundamentally based on these features, these keys. These are the keys, or these are the things that is a part of this product. There's a regulator, there's a monitor, there's a heat sensor, there's a light sensor, there's a switch, there's a thermostat. So different product has different things. There's a condenser, there's a remote, there is something called channels. Okay? So this is the first page of the manual. It tells you that these are the different parts of this product. The parts of the product. The parts of the product that is relevant for you. The product may be having hundreds and thousands of parts, but there are only hundreds of parts that you have access to, that you can control. Others you cannot control. They are the integral part of it. They are the internal part of those products. But the external, whatever is there which you can control, is mentioned in the manual. Manual doesn't say that when you press this button, what happens inside the product. It doesn't say that. It only says you press this button for this purpose. So the first page of that manual is all about the different controls of that manual, controls of that product. So these are the different parts of the product that you have access to, and you can make use of it. Similarly, there are certain parts or certain basics about neuro-linguistic programming also. Like every language, there are alphabets. So based on that alphabet, that language, you can learn that language. So once you need to learn the alphabet, you need to believe that these are the alphabets. We have to believe it. That yes, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. You have to believe it. That's it. That is the starting point to learn any language. You have to believe that this is A. You cannot argue. Okay. So A, B, C, D, E, F, ऐसा आपने English सीखा. Similarly, there are different alphabets in your own mother tongue. And those alphabets are the starting point of learning any language. And these starting points are something that you need to believe. So you have to believe that this particular design or drawing is pronounced this way. So if you see a character or a picture like this, it is called A. When you see a picture or like this, it is called M. That's how we learn in a childhood. We didn't learn anything. We didn't learn the alphabets in any other way. We only learned it by pictures. A picture like this has a sound P. A picture like this has a sound so N. A picture like this has a sound B, it's B. A picture like this has a sound D, D. And that's how we programmed. You and I programmed our mind to learn that language. And it's a belief which is being ingrained, instilled in our mind by our parents or teachers. So whenever you see this picture, the sound associated with this picture is this. And you have to believe it. Because if you don't believe, then tomorrow when you read a word and when all those characters are there, all those letters are there, you can't identify them. If you pronounce M as N, you cannot read it. So there are certain fundamental things which you have to believe. You have to instill them in your beliefs. Similarly, neuro-linguistic program also has some beliefs. It is based on certain beliefs. And as I said earlier, what is neuro-linguistic programming? It's a journey from limiting beliefs towards infinite excellence in every area of your life. Neuro-linguistic programming is a journey from limiting beliefs, I can't do this, to infinite excellence. How can I do this in every area of your life? Now, if this is a journey towards infinite excellence, naturally there are certain basic principles to move on that journey towards excellence. And these are called beliefs of excellence in NLP. और इसका एक टेक्निकल नाम भी है. The technical name is presuppositions of NLP. You need to believe, you need to presuppose, you need to accept that this is true. That is what beliefs of excellence or presuppositions of NLP is all about. And there are 18 of them. There are 18 beliefs of excellence which forms the foundation of neuro-linguistic programming. मतलब आपको इसको मान के चलना पड़ेगा. You cannot challenge them. Because challenging them won't take you anywhere. If you really want to use this manual, you use this product, this instrument called brain. And if neuro-linguistic programming is the manual for it, then you need to believe that this brain works in a certain way. You cannot change it. Year after year, ages, decades after decades, centuries after centuries, ages after ages, it worked like that only. You can't change that. This is what was discovered when this user manual was written by these great people. Okay. And the first one, the first one, the first belief of excellence. These beliefs of excellence are categorized in 6 parts. The first one is all about the model of the world. And it model of the world is something very, very interesting. It says the first, so the first category is a model of the world, about model of the world, and there are 3 beliefs of excellence which falls under model of the world. The first one is everyone has a unique model of the world. Everyone has a unique model of the world. The way you see the world has nothing to do with the way somebody else sees the world. So every person has a different model of the world. Whatever you think about yourself is absolutely different what others think about yourself. Whenever you hear a word called dog, whatever comes to your mind is absolutely unique. It has nothing to do with anybody else's interpretation or understanding about dog. If there had been a system, a printer, अगर कभी ऐसा एक printer आविष्कार हो, which can print whatever you see inside your brain. Whenever you think of something, whatever picture you see, you just need to give a command print and it will just print that. You'll notice, you'll discover to your surprise that the meaning of dog is different for different people. So if there are 8 billion people on this earth, they have 8 billion unique pictures about the word called dog. Similarly, they have 8 billion unique pictures about the word called cat. And similarly, they have a unique picture about anything and everything that you and I know about till date. If you think about rocket, it's a different meaning. Some people have never heard that word. So every human being on this earth has a unique model of the world. The way they see the world is absolutely unique. This is the first thing that you need to accept. See, when you accept this, it makes things simply easy. Makes things simple for you. कभी भी कोई किसी के साथ भी, if you are having an altercation or you are having an argument or maybe a debate, the only and only reason for that is the model of the world is different for that person from you. As simple as that. उसको जो दिख रहा है आपको नहीं दिख रहा है, पॉसिबल ही नहीं है उसको, क्योंकि उसको जो दिख रहा है वो उसका खुद का इंटरप्रिटेशन है एंड यू हैव नो एक्सेस टू हाउ दैट पर्सन इज इंटरप्रेटिंग समथिंग. So whenever you are in argument with somebody, if you are NLP practitioner, if you know how to deal with NLP, if you have control on your user manual, the first thing probably that you will do, you'll just shut down that conversation then and there, because you know that this is not going to go anywhere. The other person is not willing to receive or accept whatever you are saying, and probably it's happening with you also. You are not even willing to receive or accept what the other person is saying. And when a situation like this happens, that triggers a argument, that triggers an argument, that triggers a confusion, that triggers a debate, that triggers a situation where the other person is not understanding each other. Two people, they are not understanding each other. They are not in sync with each other. They are not in rapport with each other. They are not even willing to understand what the other person is thinking about it. They are not even willing to understand or willing to perceive what the other person is perceiving about whatever is happening. You remember we talked about that structure of communication. It has three layers. The first layer is the base layer, that is called the reference structure. Reference structure is all about what happened. That follows deep structure. Deep structure is your perception about what happened. आपको जो महसूस हो रहा है. And then comes the surface structure. Surface structure is your expression of your understanding. Now you're using the words using which you can express the perception that you are having that point of time or having about that event. That's the projection part. So you are explaining it in your own way. You can notice it. इसका आप बहुत अच्छी तरीके से study कर सकते हो. Like I've studied it in detail. You take any news item which is happening right now, which is the most important news happening right now. You watch different channels and you'll find different news. Maybe an election result coming up. You watch different channels, you will find different aspects, different point of view about the same event. Forget about elections. One single event. Election में तो बहुत सारे event हो रहे हैं. Take up one single event. Say Sunita Williams got stuck in International Space Station. Now, when you read that news on different channels, whether it is CNN or IBN or BBC or NASA, they all have their own interpretation about that. And then you have your interpretation. Because every person has a unique model of the world. The way that person is seeing that event is not the way you are seeing that event. Many times हम बोलते हैं ना कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर को ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए था. हम बोलते हैं ना कि यार सचिन आज कैसे खेल रहा है, उसको ऐसे नहीं खेलना चाहिए था. He is not in his form. How come he इतना एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर है, वो उसने कैसे आउटसाइड ऑस्टन के बाहर से बॉल जा रहा है, उसको उसने कैसे लगा दिया बैट में और कॉट बिहाइंड हो गया. इतना एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर. दिस इज नॉट एक्सपेक्टेड ऑफ सचिन तेंदुलकर. How come Virat got caught behind? Absolutely unexpected. How can he take a half-hearted shot and he gets caught in the long on or long off, mid on or mid off, square leg? Not acceptable. यार इतना एक्सपीरियंस है तेरे पास और तेरे को समझ में नहीं आया, है ना? Imagine the person who is actually playing. In his model of the world, whatever has happened. But in your model of the world, you are interpreting it in your own way. So the first thing that you need to accept, the first belief of excellence is that every human being has a unique model of the world. For that matter, every living being has a unique model of the world. Even a dog and a cat has a different model of the world. A pet dog and a street dog has different models of the world. Right? That's the first one. So every human being has a unique model of the world. Very, very crucial. All right. Then comes the next one, which is respect other person's model of the world. So now that you know that every person has a unique model of the world, The next best thing that you can do is to respect. सिर्फ acceptance की बात नहीं हो रही. It's not only about accept or acknowledge or appreciate that every person has a human unique model of the world. It's moving one step ahead, respecting. Respecting that uniqueness of every human being. अगर किसी को कुछ चीज कैसा लग रहा है, वो अगर आपको अपनी पसंदीदा नहीं है, it is okay, and respect that person, because according to his model of the world, that is true. You remember we had a session in Tuesdays with Life Coach Pinaki, in a session where I was talking about that whatever you say and whatever you do is real for you. You remember that session? So whatever you say and whatever you do about anything is real for you. आपके लिए वही रियल है, वही सत्य है, क्योंकि आपको वही दिख रहा है या आपने उस चीज को वैसे ही देखा. So in your reality that is real, in your world that is real. है ना? In your world there can be only one variety of tomato. Now when you get to the market, you got to see there are two kinds of tomatoes over there. Red bhi hai, and through the greenish red bhi hai, yellowish red bhi hai. And somebody said that these are all hybrid tomatoes and these are all desi tomatoes, the local ones. Now you got to know, my God, there are two kinds of tomatoes. And then somebody said that no, there are some baby tomatoes also. They are not produced in India, they come from somewhere else. So you got to know there's a third kind of tomato. But before that, in your own world, you had only one tomato. है ना? And you would say, tomato तो tomato ही होता है, चाहे वो लाल हो या पीला हो, छोटा हो बड़ा हो. है ना? टमाटो तो टमाटो ही होता है. आलू तो आलू ही होता है, चाहे शिमला का हो, पुराना आलू हो, नया आलू हो, औरंगाबाद का आलू हो, छोटा आलू हो, बेबी पोटैटो हो, आलू तो आलू ही होता है. बट देयर इज अ डिफरेंस. वो जहां से आता है उसका एक यूनिकनेस होता है, उस क्षेत्र का, उस फार्मिंग का एक अलग यूनिकनेस होता है. दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट आलू दैट प्रोड्यूस, दैट मेक्स इट यूनिक. So respect the model of the world of other persons. अगर वो कुछ कह रहा है, उसको काटो नहीं, उसका कदर करो, क्योंकि whatever that other person is actually saying, he is not only adding 3 words, मुझे ऐसा लगता है, ये 4 शब्द वो नहीं बोल रहा है, या 5 शब्द, मुझे तो ऐसा ही लगता है. I think it is like this. According to my perception, it is like this. This is the only thing that they are not saying while they are saying anything. Probably it's the same with you also. When you are also saying, you also put your point in a way that that is true, that is right, whether whatever the other person is saying that is wrong, or whatever the other person is saying may be right, but I don't care. What I think is right. When I say this is blue, period. If the other person has color blindness, or maybe some issues with colors, that person may not be seeing blue as blue. It could be with you also. You have some color issues. So whatever is appearing blue to you may not be blue actually. So now there are different shades of blue. Sky blue, navy blue, light blue, dark blue, indigo blue, greenish blue, yellowish blue, orangish blue. So many blues are there. And they are all unique in their own way. You have to respect. हाँ, ये orangish blue है, it's okay. ब्लू है लेकिन ऑरेंजिश, उसमें थोड़ा सा ऑरेंज का टिंच है. It's a sea blue, or it's a sea green, it's a sky blue. There are so many shades of blue behind me in this background. The color of sky is not the same as the color of the water below. So the second presupposition or second belief of excellence, belief, like you have to believe this is true. Respect the other person's model of the world. बहुत आसान है. You're programming your mind, right? Something you have never done in your lifetime earlier. क्योंकि मैनुअल आया नहीं था, ना आपके पास था, ना आपके पेरेंट्स के पास था, ना उनके पेरेंट्स के पास था. Then God picked up some people, उन्होंने स्पेशल विजडम दिया. Eventually they started discovering, oh my God, this is how we are programming our mind for such a long duration. और हमें पता तक नहीं. Year after year, decade after decade, century after century, we are doing, and we are not even aware of it. All right. So this is the second belief of excellence, that respect the other person's model of the world. Now comes the third one in the model of the world. This is the most interesting one, and this is one of my favorites. And this is called the map is not the territory. The map is not the territory. Now, let me explain it in this way. Say you got a Google map, and say you want to travel to a place. So Kruti is traveling from Ahmedabad and Pallavi is traveling from Lucknow, and both of them are traveling to Delhi. Okay, so आपने Google मैप में खोला कि डेस्टिनेशन दिल्ली है और कहाँ से जाना है, यहीं से जाना जहाँ पे आप हो. योर लोकल लोकेशन इज either Ahmedabad or Lucknow. Good. So Google shows you a route. This is a route you can follow. Google will ask you कि आप कैसे जाओगे. Do you want to go by cycle? Do you want to walk? Or you want to take a cab by car? Or you want to go by bus? Or you want to go by train? Or you want to take a flight? Google आपको सारा ऑप्शन दे दिया. Now you chose कि चलो I will go by car. So Google ने आपको एक मैप दिखा दिया कि this is a route that you have to follow if you want to go by road. But Google is not saying कि कहाँ पे पहाड़ आएगा, कहाँ पे रास्ता ऊंचा ऊपर है, कहाँ पे रास्ता नीचे है, कहाँ पे गड्ढा है, कहाँ पे रास्ता ही नहीं है, कहाँ पे रास्ता में पानी भरा हुआ है. Google doesn't say that. Probably it can only give you something कि यहाँ पे काफी दूर तक रेड है, मतलब वहां पे कुछ कारण ट्रैफिक स्लो है. And that you can discover only when you travel through that terrain, travel through that part of the map. That's why map is not the territory. Map is just a map. Okay, how you can reach from point A to point B. This is the route. If you want to go by road, this is the route. If you want to go by train, this is the route. If you want to go by air, this is the air. This is the route. But what will you experience en route is not mentioned in the map. Air turbulence हो सकता है when you're flying in the air. हो सकता है कि आपने जिस फ्लाइट पे बैठे हो, the flight that you have taken that is going to Timbuktu. So when it landed, you discovered this place has nothing to do with Delhi. And then the pilot said that there was some commotion. I couldn't land in Delhi, so I landed somewhere else. So map is not the territory. Now, how this is applicable to this beautiful instrument called brain? Coming back to that same thing, structure of communication. Something happened, some event happened. You may or may not be witness to that event, but somebody else is talking about that to you now. So when that person is talking to you, that person has a perception of that event. उसका अपना perception है according to his model of the world. Now, based on his model of the world, he had a perception about it, and whatever language, whatever words is he knows or she knows, उसके शब्दों का जो भी भंडार है उसके पास, he or she is trying his best to use the appropriate word to express that perception. So whatever that person is talking about that particular event is only a map. It is not about what actually happened. It is an interpretation of what actually happened in his or her own world. Listen to this very carefully. Something happened. You made an interpretation of that event. You make your own meaning making. That is your perception about that event. It could be an event, it could be a person. Even if it is a person, it's an event, because the way that person was behaving at that given point of time is the event which you are interpreting. उस वक्त वो जो कर रहा था या कर रही थी और जैसे कर रहा था जैसे कर रही थी, based on that you created a meaning out of your own perception about that person. And then somebody asked you, how is this person? And you talk, whatever you talk about that person, it's in your reality, that is all about that person. But that does not mean that you are telling everything about that person. Imagine, आप इसको imagine करो, actually imagine करो. Probably somebody have told you about Pinaki. कि Pinaki ऐसा है. Probably हो सकता है, before you got to even know me, somebody told you about me. Now, if you ask 3 different people about me, they will give you 3 different answers about me, because that is their perception about Pinaki. Forget about it is about me, their perception about Pinaki, because none of them has seen me. They've only seen this picture, this video. They've listened to the way I talk. Probably they are connected with me digitally for more than 2 years, 3 years. So they are sharing their experience, their projection about their perception of Pinaki. प्रोजेक्शन परसेप्शन क्लैरिटी हो गया ना, ये हमने पहली बात कर ली थी. दैट्स हाउ लैंग्वेज इवॉल्व, है ना. हाउ यू आर एक्सप्रेसिंग योर परसेप्शन इज ऑल अबाउट लैंग्वेज. लैंग्वेज इज ऑल अबाउट द प्रोजेक्शन ऑफ योर परसेप्शन, हाउ यू आर प्रोजेक्टिंग व्हाट योर परसेप्शन. Okay, so if you talk to 5 different people about Pinaki, एंड यू कैन से हाँ मैं उस पिनाकी की बात कर रहा हूँ जो हमारे एनएलपी में है, हमारे साथ ही फील्ड में भी है, यहाँ पे भी है, वहाँ पे भी जो एनएलपी का ट्रेनिंग लेते हैं. अच्छा अच्छा, आप उनकी बात कर रहे हो, हो. एंड सो पीपल हैव, if you talk to 5 people, they will have 5 different perception about this thing called Pinaki. It is an internal representation. You remember हमने NLP में पहले दिन में हमने इसके बारे में बात किया था, that everything you have an internal representation of everything in this brain, including about yourself. Whoever you are to yourself is your internal representation about yourself. ठीक है? So you have an internal representation of this person called Pinaki. और उस इंटरनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन का जो भी परसेप्शन आपके पास फिलहाल है, you are using all the language, all the words that you know to express that perception, to project what you know about Pinaki. ठीक है? So you talk to 5 people, they will give you 5 different things. Now imagine if you are hearing about Pinaki for the first time from 5 different people, क्या होगा? They are giving you the maps. They are all talking about the same map, but they are talking about different things about that map, because they experienced different territory while they were following that map or while they were passing through that area. किसी को गार्डन दिखा. अब imagine करो that 5 people traveled along that route by road, for example, at different parts of the year, different seasons of the year. कोई विंटर में आया है, कोई समर में ट्रेवल किया, किसी ने बारिश में ट्रेवल किया, किसी ने स्प्रिंग में ट्रेवल किया. They will all have different experiences of that route, of that journey, isn't it? That does not mean that when you are going to travel the same route from Lucknow to Delhi or from Ahmedabad to Delhi, you will also experience the same thing. So this is what the third part or the third belief of excellence, that map is not the territory. तो कोई अगर किसी भी घटना के बारे में कुछ भी बता रहा है, इसमें जरूरी नहीं है कि वो जो भी बता रहा है सब सही है. वो झूठ नहीं बोल रहा है. That person is not telling a lie. This does not mean that he or she is telling a lie. फिर तो हम सब झूठ बोल रहे हैं सारा दिन. Because whatever we are saying is our own perception. That may not match somebody else's perception, or that may not match somebody else's expectation. And if they tell you you're telling a lie, आप बोलोगे नहीं यार मैं सच बता रहा हूँ यार, मैं जब अहमदाबाद से दिल्ली आया था रास्ते ऐसा ही था, पता नहीं अभी ऐसा हो गया कैसे. And then you discover, अरे यार तुम किस टाइम पे गए थे, अरे आई इन द मार्च मंथ में मैं गया था. ओ ये बोलो ना, सो आई वाज ट्रैवलिंग इन द मंथ ऑफ जुलाई, तब तो बारिश हो रही थी, नेचुरली रास्ता ऐसे ही है. ऐसे हम बात करते हैं ना लोगों से. वी यूज सो मेनी एक्सक्लेमेशन मार्क्स. ओ अच्छा, ये बोलो ना, ऐसे बोलो ना. असली बात तो यही है कि तुम कब गए थे, तुम्हारे साथ कौन कौन था, तुम बस में गए थे या गाड़ी में गए थे. रूट इज सेम, द रोड इज सेम. अच्छा तो तुम बस में गए थे, ओ इसीलिए तुम्हारे साथ ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस. या तुम लोकल वाला स्टेट बस में गए थे या वॉल्वो में गए थे. ओ वॉल्वो में गए थे, फिर तो पता ही नहीं चलेगा रास्ता टूटा फूटा है भी है. है ना. इमेजिन हाउ थिंग्स आर चेंजिंग. सो मैप इज नॉट द टेरिटरी. मैप इज ओनली अ परसेप्शन दैट द पर्सन इज प्रोजेक्टिंग. वो उसका परसेप्शन है. And whatever that person is projecting, you are also creating a perception out of it. Did you notice that? And when these two perception don't match, वहीं से clash शुरू होता है. वहीं से सारा सब कुछ, मतलब सारी झंझट का केंद्र वही है. परसेप्शन इज नॉट मैचिंग. तुमने तो ऐसा नहीं बोला था, बोले यार मैंने ऐसा ही बोला था यार. नहीं अब तुम झूठ बोल रहे हो. बोले यार आई डिडंट मीन व्हेन आई से दिस. Probably he actually didn't mean. The kind of language pattern that that person used, you felt that he actually meant that way or she actually meant that. And when that person is denying, you are not willing to accept it क्योंकि आपका perception तो कुछ और हो गया उस घटना का. And you are carrying that perception with you. You are, first of all, you don't know that every person has a unique model of the world. Second, you have never thought of respecting that. And now when the person is presenting the map and it is not matching the territory, when you are actually going through it, you are saying that that person is lying or hiding something. Or maybe you are telling that person, यार इसको मत पूछ, इसको तो पता ही नहीं, ये बोल ही नहीं सकता, ये तो आधा चीज भूल जाता है, आधा चीज पे तो इसका ध्यान ही नहीं रहता, पता नहीं कहाँ घूमता रहता है, कहीं घूमने निकल गया तो क्या, हर सारा दिन कैमरा, उसको पता ही नहीं रास्ते में क्या हुआ. होता है ना, हम सबके साथ होता है. बट इमेजिन अगर ये सच है, इफ दीज थिंग्स, दीज थ्री थिंग्स, हम खाली तीन चीज की बात की आज. मॉडल ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, and in that model of the world we only talked about three things. Number one, every person has a unique model of the world. Number two, respect every person's model of the world. Number 3, map is not the territory. अगर ये सच है, सिर्फ इतनी ये तीनों चीज अगर सच है, मान लेते हैं ये सच है, फिर तो दुनिया में सारी झंझट खत्म. There won't be any quarrel, any argument, any debate. सब बंद हो जाएगा. चैलेंज है कि यूजर मैनुअल सबके पास है नहीं, और अभी तो इस मैनुअल का एक्सेस इस ग्रुप में जितने लोग हैं सबको फ्री में मिल रहा है. तब भी उनको लगता है कि ये कुछ कीमती चीज नहीं है ना, क्योंकि मैनुअल हमेशा फ्री में आता है. यूजर मैनुअल्स यू नेवर बाय, दे ऑलवेज कम्स फ्री विद द प्रोडक्ट. सो व्हेन इट कम्स फ्री, हम उसको वैसे ही रख देते हैं साइड में. जब जरूरत होगा तब खोल के देखेंगे, अभी छोड़ो ना, अभी इसको अनपैक कर दो. All right. So that's it for today. Only the first 3. There are 18 of them. We'll cover the remaining 15 over next 3-4 sessions. And before we take a break, let's take a picture. Okay? So God selected 3 of us for this special session today. है ना? मेरे लिए रिवीजन, आपके लिए इंफॉर्मेशन, है ना? So you should consider yourself that lucky. Okay? There are more than 300 people in the group, but God only picked up 3 of us. You need that kind of luck to be part of such events. कि सबके लिए नहीं है. इसलिए सब आएंगे भी नहीं. Okay, so let's look at the screen. Then look at the camera. Keep your eyes wide open, and let's count 1, 2, 3, and we'll freeze at 3 together. Okay? हाँ, सब सेट कर लो, चश्मा वश्मा जो करना सेट कर लो. Right? So look at this camera. Keep your eyes wide open, and let's count 1, 2, 3 together, and we'll freeze at 3 for a few seconds. Okay? So 1, 2, 3. Absolutely awesome. देखो ये हिस्ट्री बन गया. So when this history was taken place, there were only 3 souls, only 3 angels.
Sir,
who were
just to add to what you said, this user manual is not free, sir. It is very precious.
Okay, if you have any question, you can ask me. If you want to share your insights, you are welcome.
When you were talking about this third one, like this map is not the territory. Like, in fact, yesterday I was talking to my brother, like his daughter is almost 9 or 10 years older, and I was referring your name to him, like as a coach and all this. I was just talking to him. So I just gave him a small example, and that is what I think I've learned from you, and that just correlated to me right now. Like, see, every child is unique, and so I give him an example in this way. Like, supposing you're going to an hill station, and there are 2 ways. Ek hai shortcut, which you go through the jungle, right? Where you will get all the bushes, all that things. Another is a long route, but then you will have all the greenery on that way. So which way would you prefer? So he was like a little bit wondering what to say. And then I said, बच्चा बड़ा तो हो जाएगा, उसका जो डेस्टिनेशन है वो पहुंच जाएगा वहां पे, पर जो यादें वो साथ में कैरी करेगा, the same thing that you said, the perception, the effect that will remain in the child's mind, that we like either the jungle or a greener route. So exactly, you were telling this thing, and that is what I'm telling. I was telling to Tirat, my brother, and I was telling him that you be like approach him. You'll get a lot of idea about how to go on in life, So that's what, because it has a very long lasting effect. The way we have been raised, अगर गिल्ट के साथ बड़े हुए हैं ना कि ये आपने गलत किया, ये आप गलत करे हो, तो शायद आपने वो डिग्रीज अचीव कर ली, फिर भी आप उसका हिल स्टेशन का एंजॉय मतलब मजा नहीं ले सकते. यू ऑलवेज गो विद दैट गिल्ट फर्दर. तो ये उसी तरह का कुछ है. सर जस्ट टेलिंग मी यस्टरडे, जो मेरे को याद आया अभी. एंड दैट्स यू आर सेंडिंग सम balloons in hearts. Great. Yeah, that was a beautiful one.
Super. Thanks for sharing, Kriti.
You're most welcome.
If you have any questions, you can ask me. And otherwise, we just listen to this whole session as
Again.
many times as possible, because I promise you, the way I conduct NLP sessions, they're so powerful, so charismatic, so magical that I actually I don't know if there is anybody who does it in the such a nice way, in this way.
Yeah. You did explain it in quite detail, and in a different, you have a different perspective about things, which really makes us think, which really makes us change our mindset. That's really good. Even about these things that you were telling, that accept the fact that people are different. That is also, I think we had one session earlier about this, and wherein I said that I stopped talking to people where I feel कि अब इनसे मतलब I move out from that room, कि उनको छोड़ो और आप निकल जाओ, go for a walk or something like that. तो वो भी चीज मेरे को correlate हो रही थी. I've started accepting कि हाँ, like they are like that and we are different, so that's fine. That is giving me a bit of ease. That's
Absolutely. This is something which is created by us only. Human created everything. Every word that you use in your communication today are all created by human beings. Something happened, they were looking for an alternate word to express it, and they discovered a new word. So that's why Google was a noun when Google came into existence. Today, Google is all about searching across the globe. हम बोलते हैं आपने गूगल किया, आपने फ्लिपकार्ट किया, आपने अमेजन किया, क्यों बोलते हैं? These words, these nouns have become verbs. And if you notice the dictionary, most of the words are nouns. They eventually became verb.
Oh, yes.
They eventually became verb because they started talking, they started referring to that particular activity. Superb. Yeah. Pallavi.
सर मैंने पहले ही बोला कि आपका सेशन बहुत अच्छा था, लेकिन हाँ, आपने जो लास्ट में कंक्लूड किया कि इसकी वैल्यू नहीं है, तो मैंने कहा नहीं सर, इट्स मोस्ट वैल्यूबल सेशन एंड ऑब्वियसली इट्स नाइस टू हियर यू. आई लव द लाइफ एग्जांपल आपने टमाटर का जो दिया टू मेक द थिंग्स क्लिस्टर क्लियर, और आपने जो भी 2-3 लाइफ एग्जांपल्स शेयर किए, दैट वाज रियली नाइस फॉर मी. ट्रेन का, उसका कि कैसे जर्नी जाओगे, मैप का, तो आई लव दैट.
Good. Okay, let me ask you this question. This is my favorite question. That with this new awareness, what do you see possible for yourself?
I think I'll start communicating with people with more tolerance, like accepting them and try to understand them more. Like I have a lot of patience, but yeah, sometimes I do lose that. Well, I don't get angry onto people, but try to move away. So this will help me build more better relations, a better version of myself. I'll be able to erode some few things that I'm carrying on, like I've built some perspectives about somebody or about certain things. Maybe I'll relook at that again. I'll listen to a session again and again, and I'll try to erase all those things and give a fresh look things at a different perspective, give a new look to it.
Wonderful. And you used the word tolerate. Is it tolerate or is it accept?
Yeah, accept. Yeah.
Tolerate means you are defending it, you're challenging it.
Okay. Yeah.
Accepting it means you are actually acknowledging it and moving one step ahead, respecting
Okay. So earlier I was tolerating, now it will be accept for me.
it. That's what it's all about. Just focus on the words that you are using in your communication. That's it. सारा मैजिक वहीं पे छुपा हुआ, एक एक शब्द के अंदर एक सारा मैजिक छुपा हुआ है.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing, Kruti. Thanks for sharing. Beautiful. Yeah, Pallavi.
यस इवन आई फील कि जैसे कि आपने अपना एग्जाम्पल दिया था कि 5 लोगों से मेरे बात सुन के आए, उसके बाद मुझे सुना, तो राइट नाउ आई विल ट्राई टू मेक कम क्लीन स्लेट, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, and make my own judgment rather than making a pre-decided notions, and try to look things from different perspective also, and be more educative and more aware.
Aware, absolutely. That's the word I was looking forward for. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, sir, and be always blessed. And keep blessing us with these kind of sessions.
Blessings coming to me. I'm only sharing it with you.
Thank you so much.
Whatever I'm saying, these are not my words. Even I don't know what I'm going to say 1 minute down the time, down the time. So it's all his choice. He's choosing me to transfer this information to you. That's it. So उनको धन्यवाद दो, मुझे धन्यवाद देने देखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Thank God that मैंने आपके लिए समय दिया और आपने उस समय में मेरे को अच्छी चीजें दी. You blessed me with the things that I deserve. There is something called you deserve what you get and you get what you deserve. बस इसका अभी अभी के लिए सुन के रखो. You get what you deserve and you deserve what you get. Okay. कभी time होगा तो I will talk on this. I will give you plenty of examples to make you believe that whatever I'm saying is making
time
sense.
अभी भी है.
नहीं, अभी इसके ऊपर अभी बस आज जो 3 चीज मिला उस पर ध्यान रखो. Stay in this vibration.
Okay, great
You
day,
can
sir.
add this. You
क्या
can add
गए
this.
मनीष जी की बात सुने बिना सेशन कंप्लीट नहीं होता.
You can add to this that you deserve what you get and you get what you deserve. Super. Manish, good to see you.
Everybody, hello.
Hello.
So, Pinaki ji, I was busy. I just joined late actually, na. So, ऐसे.
It's okay. So since this session is recorded, so I will share the recordings as soon as it's available. और इसको जरूर सुनिएगा. And because these beliefs of excellence are the foundation of neuro-linguistic programming. NLP का आपको और कुछ आप जाने ना जाने, आपको पता चले ना चले, these are all secondary. And what I am talking today, the information that I am sharing with you today is the foundation of NLP. And if you start accessing, if you get access to this foundation, life will be altogether different for you. आपकी भाषा बदल जाएगी, बात करने का तरीका बदल जाएगा. Language will change, the intonation will change, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, everything will change. And when the change happens to you, it reflects in the world outside. You project it, you project your perception. So when your perception changes, when your perception transforms, the projection also transforms. And when there is a when there is a transformation in the projection, it transforms the world around you. And that makes all the difference. All right. Okay. Bye-bye. And thanks for being in this session. Otherwise, इस session सिर्फ 3 लोग होते, मैं, me, myself and God.
आपने गॉड कह दिया, मैं तो सोचने वाली थी आप कहने वाली मैं और मेरी तन्हाइयाँ. अक्सर ये बातें
तन्हाई तो मुझे कभी महसूस होता ही नहीं. तन्हाई को मेरे आसपास भी भटकने नहीं देता. तो उसको मौका ढूंढना पड़ता है मेरे पास आने के लिए. So whenever I take a session, three people are always there, or three things are always there, or three entities are always there. One is me, second one is myself, and the third one is God. So when there are 4 of you, 12 people actually attending this session.
Now 6 people are attending these sections.
हर एक के साथ 3 है. Good. Make your life amazing, make your week amazing, and transform people in your life on your journey towards infinite excellence. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.